The Gaza
Let's talk about Gaza and maybe Canadians too.
Strip, a total of about 360 square kilometers of land, faced relentless bombardment from Israel for
It's a demolition site.
over 15 months. Now it's confronting another kind of threat, a foreign leader toying with the idea of occupation.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, Bibi looked a little bit nervous, a bit surprised, right? He presented his greater Israel map right before Hamas conveniently attacked Israel. And I don't think, just my opinion, he was thinking US was going to take over Gaza. He wanted it for Israel, right? So is Donald throwing a wrench into Bibi's plan? Kind of. Looks like it, maybe.
We're going to take over that piece, and we're going to develop it.
While the US president considers the Gaza Strip to be real estate on sale, its residents reject his plans strongly.
I mean, look at the fucking place.
Trump's remarks are illogical. We have lived through war for a year and more. And then he comes and says we should leave our land. This is our land.
Okay, first of all, insofar as I can tell, these people, most of them anyway, live in tenement buildings, one on top of another. They don't own any land, okay? Maybe they own apartments. I don't know what the situation is, but this lady doesn't own any land. Let's just keep it real. She doesn't.
Land, and the land of our ancestors.
The land of our ancestors. I mean, this idea that just because your ancestors conquered some plot of land, or even maybe took a vacant one for themselves, right? Does that just automatically give you the right to own shit? Does it? I mean, maybe we won't get into that in this video, but people generally, they pick a side of whose land it is, generally speaking, whose land they think it is, and then they cry about somebody trying to take it from them. They pick this arbitrary moment in history when somebody took somebody else's land, and that was just, but taking it from them isn't. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into a conversation about what it means to own land or what what the rules for that should be. But all I want to convey is that whatever idea people have of how this should work, right, well, it's hypocritical because in other instances they don't necessarily agree with it. And that's why this sort of thing keeps happening, because we don't actually have a universally accepted, morally correct idea of what land ownership is and why it should be thus.
This call for displacement is not new. Many plans talked about this issue and failed. Of course, the plan of US President Donald Trump will fail because Gazans hold on to their land, country, and soil of their nation. Many wars passed on Palestine, and specifically Gaza, and did not let the Palestinian people to migrate or travel to other countries.
Palestinian leadership too voiced outrage over the US president's comments.
These statements reflect confusion and deep ignorance about Palestine and the region. Gaza is certainly not a common land, and it is not property that can be bought and sold.
then how does anybody own it if it can't be bought or sold? How do these people on the ground, how did they own it? Did they buy it? I don't know, maybe it's some kind of commune. And if it is, then put it up to a vote.
Hamas is regarded by the US and the European Union as a terrorist organization. However, it has governed the Gaza Strip since 2007. Hamas also called on Arab and Muslim.
So judging by this video, and there's other indicators of this, the people of Gaza, by and large, support Hamas, right?
Leaders to hold an emergency meeting and send a clear message that Trump's position on Gaza would not be accepted in the region. The US president's remarks could threaten the ceasefire deal too, which it sent a clear message that Trump's position on...
Man, they get them young, don't they? These little kids they don't know anything. They're little sponges and they're just soaking this shit up. So the problem persists.
On Gaza would not be accepted in the region. The US president's remarks could threaten the ceasefire deal too, which itself is a balancing act for all sides. Trump's statement has already drawn sharp international condemnation.
China's afraid of getting blockaded, right? Of course they don't like it, right? What about their Muslim population, and what's been happening to those people? Like I said, hypocrisy. That's all that politics is, right? Politics is about grabbing power. It's a balance of power between the state and its peoples. It's the balance of power between various states, right? More power for me, less power for you. Hypocrisy.
China has always believed that Palestinians governing Palestine is the basic principle of post-war governance of Gaza.
China is pro-Muslim all of a sudden. Get the fuck out of here.
Turkey, Russia, and others issued similar comments on Wednesday. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry posted a statement saying Saudi Arabia would continue efforts to establish an independent Palestinian state. It echoed previous similar statements from other Arab nations that the two-state solution was the prerequisite for these countries to establish diplomatic relations.
Two-state solution, right? Okay, but it's Hamas's stated goal. I think it's in their mission statement, constitution, whatever, legal document, to destroy Israel. And at least the far right in Israel wants the same for the Palestinian state. So, I mean, it's delusion. This two-state solution at this point in time is delusion, especially if you're going to support Hamas in some way, shape, or form. You're fucking deluded. You're dishonest. Let's just keep it real. Two-state solution, my ass.
With Israel.
Well, let's explore this.
Trump will fail, and the countries that support Trump will fail. We are against this decision. Let him go and implement this decision with the Jews.
We won't leave our land and our country. We're living here. Despite the destruction, we're here.
Dying here is better.
This is the problem with the Palestinians, right? They're brainwashed. They're militant, dehumanized savages. Let's just keep it real. They want to live there, right? You saw those mattresses in the corner there?
We won't leave.
Right. A little kid sitting under them. They probably pull them out at night and sleep on them, right? These people are savages. They like this. And
our land and our country. We're living here. Despite the destruction, we're here.
Dying here is better.
Dying here is better than what? Everybody's bitching and moaning about Trump's plan. What plan? He just threw an idea out there. He presented no plan. You don't know what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. The only thing we know is that U.S. is going to take control of Gaza in some way, shape, or form. And trust me, that's better than Bibi. Lesser of two evils, for damn sure. And, well, what if he offers the people that want to go, right, voluntarily, offers them nice, beautiful apartment, a stipend, for a little bit at least before they could get back on their feet, things of that nature, a good amount of money, and a peaceful, relatively peaceful country. They'd rather do this, right? Because what? Like, who in their right mind that has children would say, I would rather live in squalor in this rubble and die here than listen to what, the guy with the biggest pocketbook in the world has to offer for me. What a businessman that likes to make deals. I'd rather die here in squalor. Okay, if that's what you want to do, I have no sympathy for these people. Yes, we can talk about how they've been brainwashed into this. Yeah, no doubt about it. How they were agitated for years, and how Israel helped to, and the West helped to create this problem. Yeah, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I thought we were, at least some of us, pro individual responsibility, right? Not collective punishment, right? We want to judge individuals on individual bases. And, well, who is this lady? Who the fuck does she think she is to condemn her children to this type of life and death even? Right? I thought we were anti-abortion. What about killing? That's essentially what she's saying she's willing to do, because of this idea of that she was brainwashed by the people that control her mind, her existence on this planet, right? That use her as a pawn to get their political goals met, right? Hamas, in this case. The Hamas leaders they don't even live in this country. They're in Qatar and they're billionaires. They support this. Holding on to this land at the cost of these people is very profitable to them. Bottom line, right? And it's very useful for Israel to have these savages that don't want peace. They don't want peace. They don't want two-state solution. Most of these people support Hamas, and Hamas wants to destroy Israel. That's it. So these people, their worldview, right, is fight to the death. Power, right? Strength. Let's have a fight. And they're going up against probably the most powerful military in the region that's backed, if need be, by the most powerful military in the world. There's like 2 million of them versus, 2 million civilians versus potentially 2 million, military. It would only take about 20,000, not even that, to annihilate all of them. These people want war. That's what they want. They're fucking savages. They want to destroy. And look, I'm not picking sides, right? I'm just being very pragmatic about this and trying to get people to believe what they say they believe and act like it. Okay? These people want to die there. Their worldview is to fight to the death. That's what they want. But who are you to say they can't? You know what I mean? You saw what they did to Israel, and I already talked about it, where that came from, and I blame Israel for it also. But you can't just, both sides are fucking savages. But people just want to pick a side, right? Like, people cry about all the civilians dying in Gaza, but they're pro-Hamas. They might not be, militants technically in accordance with international law, but they are militant. The only thing that prevents a lot of them from being militants is the fact that, Well, they weren't given a weapon by the government to fight back. And a lot of them were, for sure. And again, people are going to say, well, they're just defending themselves. Yeah, but they attacked Israel. They're not just defending themselves. These people want war and they want to fight to the death. They're fucking cancer. So is Israel, don't get me wrong. But that's why I support United States stepping in and being like, we got to take control of this. That's what it seems like to me anyway. So what right does this woman have to condemn her children to death? Remaining in a situation that she herself helped create. And it's people like her that ensure this persists. What right? If she wants to die there, let them. Right? Freedom. Isn't it about freedom? But what gives her the right to, not exactly, but kill her children? What? Sentence them to death. What gives her that right? Man, fuck these people. Seriously. They're lost souls. They're horrible people. Of course they are. And all of you supporting Palestine in this fight, right? Instead of helping them get the fuck out of there, right? Trump is being criticized when his solution will save lives. And, there are also people in Palestine who want to get out. You have all these like journalists and politicians, people who are pro-Palestine and present themselves as victims. They got the fuck out of there. They're not there anymore. And they'll tell you about it, even in this very video. A guy says, I got out of there to protect my children. But she should stay there and fight, right? These people are fucking, they're evil. They themselves got out, but want these people to stay. And they're brainwashing them to do so because they make money off this shit. And off the backs of these poor people. And again, I don't have any sympathy for the adults in the room. But the children, I'm with you there. But that's why I'm pro-Trump's plan so far, insofar as it's done legally and correctly, right? Voluntarily, at least to some degree. Well, let's hear him out. Let's see what he has to say. No, all these leftist commentators, people with geopolitical goals disguised as, humanitarian efforts, and people who are just making money off this conflict and lying to you, right? They want to condemn these people to death. Trump wants to save lives. Yeah, he's got geopolitical goals in mind. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Trump is like an angel or anything. But at the very lesser of two evils, right? Lesser of two evils. But all these people who want this conflict to go on and are literally condemning Palestinians to death. Like the insanity of thinking that Israel's just going to stop. These people should keep on fighting. They should keep on killing Israelis, but Israel should stop. And how are you going to make this happen? How? You're pro-war, thinking that you're going to convince a military power more powerful than Israel to fight Israel on behalf of these savages? And you, who's banking on this fucking situation, get the fuck out of here. Like, the left are absolutely evil. The people on the left in the United States who are, wearing their scarves and flying the Palestinian flag and chanting shit, they're absolutely evil. They supported what Hamas did in Israel, killing a lot of innocent people there, kidnapping innocent people who were dancing for peace in the Middle East, right? Well, whatever, confused, drugged up retards from the West. Okay, fair enough. But still, their heart was in the right place, right? They were innocent. They were pro-peace. So the left in the United States, a lot of them were ambivalent or even supportive of what Hamas did. But somehow Israel doing the same thing is wrong because Well, why? It's just hypocrisy all over the place, man. Get these people the fuck out of there. Offer them a way out, those that want to go. And militant, crazy, brainwashed militant people who have no regard for their children's future and their own future won't even listen to what the offer may be. They don't want to better their lot. They want to sleep in that rubble, eat fucking rats. I mean, okay, let them. I don't understand, man. And a lot of these Middle Eastern countries, they're acting like part of the reason why they don't want to take these Palestinians is because they're radicalized terrorists. And the one time that was Jordan accepted some of them, they had to deal with a whole bunch of problems with, and these people they're too rowdy. They can't be trusted. They're ghetto. This is the world's biggest ghetto. And a lot of these, I'm sorry to say, a lot of these people are absolute scum. Look at what they supported. Look at what they did to some of those hostages. Look at what they did in Israel. They're no different than the Israelis that are pro this nonsense. They're all fucking savages. Let them burn in hell. That's what they want. Okay, and everybody getting triggered because Trump said something, calling it a plan, already labeling it ethnic cleansing, and I did too. I got a little bit triggered, I have to say. But let's keep it real. Because if this is a voluntary plan, if Trump is giving these people a lifeline that they could choose or not, then that's not ethnic cleansing. What Israel's doing, yeah, of course that's what they want. Like, seriously, put yourself in this woman's position. Would you listen to what Trump has to say, or would you die in that fucking rubble eating rats? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? These people have no brain. They're idiots. It is what it is. And they're evil, absolute evil people condemning their children to this. Innocent children who don't even get a say. Fuck out of here. Fuck these people. Seriously. And then you got Canadians getting all into their feelings, getting triggered because Trump announced I don't know if they implemented any. There's gonna be two-way tariffs, right? This is just a way to tax the people, in my opinion. It's a lot more than that, but one of the reasons why this will happen on both sides is, well, these governments need more money, so they're just gonna use each other, right, to tax their own people, basically. And the people are gonna blame, the other guy, the people across the border, instead of realizing how their own government is fucking them ultimately at the end of the day. But hopefully, their incomes are getting pinched a little bit, and at the end of the day, it's going to be for their own good eventually. But still, you're being treated like to whom it may concern, they're being treated like the children they are, right? It is what it is. People are just too emotional, man. They can't be rational, and they just get triggered so easily. So, and I wanted to talk about also what I see as just astroturfing to a large degree, bots, NPCs, and how narratives are controlled by those means, right? So something will happen, and the powers that be will want a certain reaction, so they'll astroturf, right? That's bots, however it's done, right? They'll brainwash people to say something, and then, or they'll say it on the news or whatever, and the populace will pick up the chant and just repeat the same shit without any critical thought, right? But it's all over YouTube, man. The discourse, and that's exactly what it is, and that's the problem. It's so controlled now. It's sad and pathetic, right? Whenever there's these controversial things, depending on which echo chamber you find yourself in, I don't know, a large percentage, 90, 95, 100% of the comments are essentially the same. Or there's like a few themes and everyone just repeats the same NPC comment. I expect better from Canadians. Boo louder next time, right? Those boos will get 25% louder. Oh, so original, right? How do I say the same shit a little bit differently? Look at me. I'm so edgy and I'm so disappointed, right? I thought Canadians could boo louder and just on and on and on and on and on the same comment over. And this is, wow. And it's everywhere, all over YouTube. Not on my channels. But, anyway, I'll bitch and moan about my channel later in another video. If Americans are hated by Canadians. Okay. Wow. What did everyone expect? We've been threatened. Canadian here. Don't expect these feelings to go away when Trump leaves office or if all these tariffs are reversed. As a nation, we're heartbroken and betrayed, and we've always done what's best by America. What a bunch of fucking nonsense. So there's this sentiment that, and look, yeah, you're supposed to be mad and triggered, and because there's retaliatory tariffs coming, and you need to support that, right? Instead of solving the root of the problem so that the products that you get, they don't get taxed and the government doesn't take all that money, right? This is just a tax on the people. That's what it is. And you're supporting it, you idiot, right? You're supposed to look across the border and blame them for your shit being more expensive. And Americans are going to look at Canada and blame them instead of just being like, wait a minute. Seems like these fucks met in secret and made a deal to fuck us all. But again, hopefully at the end of the day, this will benefit you in some way, shape, or form, because Big Daddy is a benevolent one. And you don't deserve to have any pocket money, any allowance. You just don't. Sorry. And if it doesn't apply to you, then you're not getting triggered right now. Anyway. So yeah, there's sentiment, astroturfed also, right? Canadians are heartbroken. They're mad. We will never forget. I'm seeing all these comments like, I won't travel to Michigan for vacation anymore. I'm not going to give America any more of my money, right? I'm a patriot all of a sudden. What? Yeah. This like fake patriotism all of a sudden. Nationalism. It's all fucking fake. Why weren't you doing that? You didn't care to support Canada before, to keep your money in Canada before. You were willingly giving it to the United States because, well, it worked out for you. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do whatever. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying the only reason why you're all of a sudden a patriot somehow is because you're butthurt. You're not a patriot. You're not nationalistic. You're just a fake. You're a triggered little child that's throwing a tantrum. Let's just keep it real. Okay, so this isn't genuine grassroots nationalism by Canadian, whatever. It's bullshit. You're just manipulated. And this idea that US has hurt us, we're emotionally scarred forever, and like all this bitch made talk. Let's keep it real. So let's say your neighbor comes to you, and I don't know, this is actually based on a true story. Let's say your backyard chickens, right? You're overfeeding them or whatever, and rats are getting into the food, and you're feeding a fat rat population that's crossing over into the other neighbor's yard who doesn't have any animals, and they're don't know, destroying his roof or whatever, causing damage on, you're basically feeding a rat population that's hurting your neighbor's property, and you've had a good relationship so far, and your neighbor has brought this up to you a few times, and you basically ignore what he had to say, and now he's saying, look, if you don't do something about this, I'm going to have to take further steps, go the legal route, and do something about it, because, like, I'm not getting any eggs from your backyard chickens, but I'm getting all the negative side effects from you feeding these rats, maintaining this rat population, and it's causing me issues. I have to do something about it, right? You're not a good neighbor. And then the rat feeding neighbor gets all butthurt and says, oh, I thought we were friends. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. I'm going to feed my chickens even more. You know, this type of stuff. I'll never, I don't know. I won't cut your lawn anymore. When I was cutting my own, I would go over the line and cut your grass a little bit too. Whatever it may be. So the U.S. president told you what the deal was, right? There's lethal drugs coming from your country into the United States, helping to kill these people. Okay, the border there's no border security, very little border security, and the U.S. president says, keep those drugs there. Maybe your own native population wants to die consuming this shit too. A little bit more. We don't want it here. You know what I mean? Keep your weed over there. We got our own. We don't want to be making you living off the back of the United States, Canada. Like, it's not a 50-50 relationship, okay? The reason why you live in the most secure part of the world, even though you got Russia like right there, right across the water, very, very close to you, but they won't fuck with you, is because U.S. has provided the deterrence. That's why, okay? You're benefiting from the strength of the U.S. military. That allows you to spend maybe less on your military budget and allocate funds elsewhere, and you're benefiting from it. Let's keep it real. And again, there are drugs and there's issues at the border that your neighbor wants to solve, and you're just saying, fuck it. You're not a good neighbor. Sorry. Okay? You're not a good neighbor. You're acting like the victim when, well, you're kind of a parasite. Let's keep it real. You're kind of a parasite. I'm not saying U.S. doesn't benefit from Canada being there. They do as well. But you got all triggered because Trump wanted to make you the 51st state, or like, you don't even know what the plan is. He just said some things and you got triggered and butthurt, and you feel like he's threatening to invade you and all this dumb shit. You don't even know what the plan is. You just got triggered. He put that out there. You got triggered. And now you're going to accept your government putting tariffs on the American people because, they did it first, and you're going to get fucked over. Both governments are going to take your money because they made a deal behind your backs. So, no, you're not a good neighbor and you're not a patriot. And look, I'm not saying the average Canadian's heart isn't in the right place. They're just too fucking emotional to use their brain. That's all I'm saying. So again, no, you're a fake patriot, fake nationalist, but don't threaten my Canada. Don't make me part of the United. You're like the 51st state in a way, right? The Queen of England can, or the King now, can, don't they appoint the guy in charge in your country? Don't they tell you what to do to a large degree? Don't they have a whole bunch of influence over how your politics is run? Doesn't he? So spare me this, nationalism, independence, and all this other stuff. What? You're not a colony anymore, but I mean, there's some of that still going on. You're not fully sovereign. You're not. So just what? But Trump said something, and my local news or the mainstream media told me to feel a certain way and to react, and I saw all these astroturf comments everywhere, and I fell right in line with what they want me to be, what they want me to say, so that they could carry out their plans, and I won't blame them for it. I'll blame the other guy. It's so lame, man. It's so fucking lame. So you're not a good neighbor, guys. You haven't been a good neighbor. That's why your neighbor had a complaint, and instead of complying with the complaint, you started playing the fucking victim, because you wouldn't do what your neighbor that you've been benefiting from a lot more than he from you had a complaint about something. You're acting like you're some kind of a good neighbor when you're not. You're not a good neighbor. You're not. You're just a mooch. So, what a fucking joke, man. Everybody's running around all triggered and emotional because Trump said a bunch of shit. No one's actually looking to engage him. The politicians are. Your leaders are behind closed doors, and they'll give you little snippets of what's being said. They're engaging. They are the adults in the room. You're not. Instead of, when Trump puts these statements out there, instead of asking for a concrete plan, engaging in a conversation, being like, well, what do you want? What is it that you're saying? What are you offering to the Gazans that maybe want to leave because they don't want to live, eat shit, sleep in the rubble with all these diseases and all kinds of stuff, right, going on? Come on, man. Don't you think some of those people would be also happy to get the fuck out? Get an apartment, job, in some kind of social program to reintegrate into some other society somewhere? Take care of their children? You telling me none of these people want that? Who the fuck are you to tell them what they should be doing, instead of asking that, hey, do some of you guys want to hear out Donald Trump's offer? See what's on the table? Oh no, we're just triggered and he's a bad guy. Right? That's why adults in the room make the decision, and the rank and file are treated as children, because they are. When it comes to this type of stuff, right? You act like a bunch of fucking children. It's impossible to have a conversation with you. And it's not entirely your fault, but at the end of the day, we're all individuals, right? So let's hear Orange Man out, see what he has to say, see what the offer is, and give a chance to the people that the offer is being extended to say yes or no. Is that too much to ask? I guess so. Because what? Because what? Why? I don't know, man. I can't. People are just so predictable and boring, man. I'm just saying. What do you think?